This is my new PWM fan controller that I've designed. I've done a few different versions over the years, and this is my my new one. So let's start with what we've got. First of all, this simply allows you to connect 10 PWM fans to your PC to power them all safely, and it also to control the speed of the fans all at the same time, so all your fans run at the same speed, and then as you can set it so as when your temperatures on your CPU get hotter, the fans can start to spin a bit faster, and then when it's not, they can go back down so they're nice and quiet. So first of all, you connect this bit with a supply cable to where your CPU fan would plug into on the motherboard, and then your CPU fan plugs in there, or your water pump, and then you just connect all your other fans here. Now you can use 3-pin fans on this, however they will run at their fastest speed and you can't control their speed, because obviously they're not PWM. So we have a fuse here. This is gold plated, and this one is rated for around about 10 amps, so an amp per fan. So this is more than capable of running some, very powerful fans out there for servers. We also have this is the Molex connection. These are solid. That's to power your fans, and also to give 5 volts to this USB connector. Now this USB connector is fast charging. You can't do any data through it. It is literally just to fast charge mobile phones, tablets, anything that you need to charge by USB. Now this USB, if we just flip it over, you can see that there's something quite different. First of all, it has a 2.5 amp fuse there, so there's a bit of safety, and we also have a little IC chip there, and what that does is that little chip there detects what you plug in by this USB port. For example, if you plug an iPhone in here, this little chip recognises that, and it tells the iPhone that it's okay for the iPhone to draw the maximum current it wants to draw from this port, so you can fast charge. There's also a little spot there for another IC chip. Again, that's just a little chip that detects certain phones. This particular chip I am going to stick with, because it works with a lot of different phones and Android tablets, but I can also take that off and swap it over if I wanted to. We also here, I have actually added some solder to the copper traces. That's to get the maximum current to the port. This USB port is gold plated. We have some capacitors here to smooth out the voltage, so when you plug a phone into here or a tablet and it draws a lot of current, this just stops any voltage spikes. We also the shield of this is also grounded by a 1K resistor, and then on the other side it is by a capacitor. I can't quite remember off my head what value it is, but that is a much more efficient way of grounding them. and it just stops interference. And you could just connect it straight to ground, but this is better doing it this way. It's a little bit more expensive to make these, but it is a lot better. We also have a little capacitor there just to filter out any noise on the 5-volt rail. So all in all, what these little capacitors do is they simply just make sure that the 5 volts that's going to your phone, that's charging your phone or your tablet, is of stable quality, if you say that, and just filters out any noise that might be coming from your power supply in your computer. It's just a bit better for the charging and your batteries and stuff. So under here we have some more capacitors. Now these are for the 12-volt rails that are sending power to all your fans. Again, these are just to keep the voltage, the 12 volts, nice and stable to the fans. So, when they draw a lot of current, it can keep that 12 volts there. We also have a couple of little capacitors dotted around. That's just to filter out any noise on the 5-volt rail. So these PWM fans, it's always better to give them a nice clean 12 volts. It just helps with the fan speeds, and also probably improves the life of the fans as well, because the voltage is a lot cleaner and stable. And I think that's about it. As you can see here, I've just gone all the 12 volts and the ground rails. I've just literally filled with some nice solder, just to keep that the current there, so it's available for all the fans. It is also, this is a double-sided PCB, and you can kind of see there that my traces are really thick to handle the high currents. And to be on the safe side, I've actually just done some solder on this side as well, just to get that current straight to each fan. There's a couple of little test pins here. This is just if anyone wants to mess around with them. You got your D and negative of your USB port, and that is about it really. Standoffs. Now it is important to mount this in your PC case properly. I'd advise just to unscrew these. Put it to where you want to mount it, put a pen through the holes to mark the holes, then drill the holes, and then just mount it and put the screws in. It's really important, you see, none of this touches anything bare metal, because it will short this out and damage this, or worse, damage your computer. So it's really important you mount this. Don't just leave it hanging about in your computer case, so stuff can touch this, because it will damage it. So that is about it really. These have been popular over the years. They're quite expensive to make, if I'm honest, because I have to make them in small quantities, so I have to pay a little bit more for the PCB boards and so on, and all the parts. So yeah, this is the cable that plugs into here and goes to the header on your motherboard. It's fairly long, so it's long enough to go there and just about anywhere you want to connect this. So yeah, that's about it. There's nothing like this available. This is why I design and make these myself. And I keep one for myself and sell a bunch of them, and then a couple of years later I'll probably redesign this and make it a bit better. So there it is.